Hi, welcome to TLC's Creative Art Corner. I'm Miss Susan, and today we're going to do a new painting technique called Pointillism. Now, Pointillism was developed in the Impressionistic period, which was like, mid to late 1800s. And George Seurat is the author of this particular technique. And rather than mix the colors together, he would put dots of pure color next to each other so they would blend. When you looked at it from afar, your eye would blend the colors together. Now, ours won't be exactly that particular, but I'll give you some examples. So let me show you some examples. These were done with the flour and salt recipe that we discussed last week, so you can refer to that video. And they give a nice heavy body texture to your painting. And these are good to do when you're working on paper. Okay, I'm not so sure that it works real good with aluminum, but you can try it. If that's what you have, that's what you use. It's the best thing to use. So here was something I tried to do with a scenery, sunset, okay. This is another one. Okay, this was not done on white paper, so it has a little bit of different coloration to it. But I just lightly sketched out my snail, okay, and then I did my dots, and I sort of did it a reddish and orange, red, orange, red, orange, red, orange, red, orange, red, and I went around, and then I had different colors of yellow for here, and then just plain blue for the background. I did a white or a plain for here, and then I didn't have black paint. No matter what I've tried to make black paint, I even went out and bought black nail polish, a failure. So I just decided I'm going to do it with a Sharpie. So that's what I did. So, and even with the mouth, I wish I had done the mouth with a Sharpie, but okay. And then I wanted to make like a hill in the background, so I just sort of did a green and yellow idea there with the grass. Okay, so that's one. And then this is the one that I did, and I had some of the paints were a little too watery, but the idea here is balloons in the sky. Okay, now, I taped this down because it's that watercolor paper. I believe this was the watercolor paper, doesn't matter, but anyway, I did tape it down. I just wanted to show you when you take it off, when you tape it down and you take it off, you get a very nice border. And you want to pull the tape away from the painting. So sometimes it peels like that. Okay, so you want to pull it, not into the painting, away from the painting. Okay. All right, so I've taken all the tape off, and you can see it has a very nice little border all around it. And then I signed it in the lower right-hand corner, okay? Yeah. And you can sign it and put your date, whatever you want. Your trademark, okay? You're the designer. Okay, and then I did one on cardboard and aluminum foil. And this piece of cardboard, I'll show you where I got it from in just a minute. But anyway, this one is done just with, I did an apple, and I tried to get it where the sun was shining. It was a little bit more bright, and I put darker colors here for a shadow, and then just plain blue along the bottom for the tablecloth, and then the wall of the room would be yellow. And I kind of like the reflection idea in this one. So this is what we're going to do today. And this one was done with the talc and the glue recipe. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do this one, the same one that we had done on paper, to see what it looks like on the aluminum foil, okay? But only we're going to use the glue and the talc instead of the flour and the salt. Okay, so I want to tell you though that two of his most famous paintings, George Seurat, his famous paintings, one was called, the most famous one is called A Sunday on Grand Lagette. And it's an island in the Seine in France. So it's a very famous painting, and they'll show it there for you so you see it. The other one he did was very, very famous as well. It was called The Circus. Now, I've seen the circus up close and in personal, and those dots are itty bitty, 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 and it's amazing when you stand away. It looks like a fully fledged painting. It was amazing. It's just amazing. So the whole technique is quite amazing, I think. So we're going to try as basic. Get the idea. Okay, great. So let's get started with our materials. Well, first we need something to paint on. Okay, this is a piece of cardboard with aluminum foil, so we're going to use aluminum foil. If you were going to use paper, you'd want to tape it down like I've showed you before. Okay, put that out of the way. Aluminum foil, and then some tape to tape it on the back. I'm sure I did that, see? Yes. Now, this was interesting. I found one of these bags, you know, these shopping bags you get. This is a real good weight of paper. And so I had covered one of these. I think it was this one, yes, it was this one. I covered this with this, but I think you could paint directly on this. If it's white or in the inside of the bag, you could use it. There's lots of things we can do with these bags, so hang on to these bags, because I'm gonna do stuff with these. Yes, indeed, yeah. This was great. So that's something, and I'm sure you've got 10 of them in the house, you know. I had only one, but that, you know, okay. And then if you're going to paint on paper, of course, you could either use watercolor or acrylic, but I always just use acrylic paper. It's just easier for me, so the one thing. You will need, okay, I'm going to put this aside. Okay, now you're going to need, if you want to, I sketched my thing out with a Sharpie, okay, so you could do that. Because a pencil would probably rip the aluminum foil. You'll need ends that you can use dots with. So you can use a pencil, the eraser of a pencil is one option. You can use Chinese skewers, chopsticks. So you could use this end. This end is more square, so this is a nice little point. So you can have different sizes of points. This is a skewer, and this is a nice small flat edge here, or you could use an itty bitty point there. You really got ambitious. And then you could use the end of a paintbrush. And different size paintbrushes have different ends that are different sizes. So these are fun to use. And then the good standby earbuds. So I'm going to mostly use these. Now you should have one for each color that you use, because if you mix them, like these are already dried out, so it's not going to matter. But these are clean. So if you mixed, like if you had done a yellow and then you went into the green, you're going to get a blue when you do your dotting, you know. So you'll want a little bit of water. You might need it. Okay, and then, and a little bit of talc. You might need that. And then a cloth, always a cloth. You need a cloth, always. Now, I want to tell you, last week, these are empty bottles from last week when we did made all of the recipes. We did the 2 recipes, and one of the recipes had glue and talc. So what I did, I cleaned the bottle out when I was finished with it, and then you can either put water in it, so you have a bottle like this. If you don't have one of these, then you can put water in it, or you could put the paint directly in it. So this one is the glue and the talc, but you could also put the flour and the salt in it, you know, get it in, and then you can just have a little bit of thing here, little bit of opening, and then you can do your dots that way. Hopefully I can do this as yeah, see? One little dot, one little dot, one little dot. See, can you see that good? Okay, so you can, yeah. If the paint is too thin, it's gonna go all over the place, but you can see, okay? So you get nice even dots. So that's one technique you can do, make your life easy, okay? All right, and then you'll need something to stir with. I made all of my paints up last week. I still had them. So I went ahead and I'm gonna use those. Now, when I opened them and went into them, the talc settled at the bottom. So you're just gonna have to stir it up again. You know, it'll look like you never did it before, because the flour will all be at the bottom, or the talc rather, with the glue. And so I want it to be a more heavy body. So when this is a little liquidy, but it'll do, okay? So you want this, when you drip it, there's a mound, like, see, even thicker than that would be fine, so that when you do the dots, you've got this nice texture, okay? All right, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so I have all my material here, and I'm gonna get myself set up, so I want you to press pause and go and get everything you need and come on back, and we'll both be ready at the same time. Welcome back. Now, what we're going to do, I've already drawn my picture, what we're going to do, and what I want to do this time is just kind of outline the clouds and leave the cloud itself as silver. So maybe you can have a reflection like a mirror thing. Yeah, but anyway, I decided how I want to color it. I'm going to do my green balloon, then a red balloon, then an orange balloon, and then a blue balloon, and then my background, I'm gonna leave my whole background yellow, different colors of yellow, different shades of yellow. So I made up a couple of shades of each color. Now the way to do that with food coloring is just a little bit in one, and then a little bit more in another, and a lot in another. So you get different shades of green, okay? So let's start. Where's my Q-tip? Okay, I'm using old not toothpicks, I'm sorry, earbuds. Yes, okay. So I'm going to start with my outline, which would be the darkest, okay? And I'm you have to be sure my paint is good. So I'm going to stir it up with this. Yeah, this is good. It could be a little bit thicker, but I didn't do it that way. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to put my dots around. They don't have to be right next to each other. You know, you can leave because we can put another color with them. Okay, especially where we have an area behind, like this, right in this area here, it's behind this balloon. So these would be a little darker shadow here, which is what we're going to do here. Okay. This can be a little tedious, okay. And then I want to continue just outlining it with one row, or as many as you want. I mean, you're the artist, so you can decide how you wish to do it. And the more liquidy the paint is, it will, you know, smash down. But I like it when it has texture, so it would be okay if it were real thick. Okay, so down here it's probably a little bit darker. Okay. And then as it comes up into the middle, I need to use the other side. Be sure your paint. This is a nice thick one. You'll see this one now. Okay, so as it comes more toward the center, where the sun would be hitting, for example, the sun is coming from here, I would put it like this. And it's okay if you don't get a complete dot each time. You know, sometimes you have to come each time and make a dot. Okay, and then I would put my lightest green, and I'm going to try the pencil just as another technique. Okay, and be sure that this is cleaned. Just to be sure it's nice and, oh, it's nice and smooth, very nice. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use this. So this is a little bit bigger of a dot. And if the dots overlap, that's okay, not a problem. Okay. Okay. Now that's the green, so now I'm going to try not to get my hand in it, and I'm going to continue with the red balloon. Okay, in the same manner. First I'll put my dark red down. Okay, I'll be sure it's stirred nicely. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is my dark red. Yeah, outline it. Okay, so I'll use the Q-tip. Yeah, it's a little bit more watery. Whoops, see, it's watery. Yeah, it's okay. But, you know, depending on the size of the tip of something that you use, you're going to get, the size of your dot will change. Okay. Okay. Okay, so first you're going to outline it again. I'm going to go to my lighter shade of red, which is more like a pink, and I'm going to go ahead and try my pencil again. Okay. And I'm going to fill in here. Okay, this doesn't want to make any dots. And you can even come in between some of the, oops, that's okay, just take it off. See, it's a little bit liquidy, but that's okay. You can even come between the reds to get it to blend from far away. Okay. 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 I'm just trying different things. If you wanted, you could do it all with the earbuds, and that's fine too. So this would be where the sun is hitting it. Then if you want, you could even try with the smaller skewer, whoops, chopstick. Get some little ones, especially down here in the where the balloon is tied. Get some other reflections. And if I had another red, I could also go in there with that. Okay, and I get to pick that up. Okay, all right. So I'm going to let that one. That's it with the red. Okay, and it's okay if it blends together in places, like, you know, don't panic. It's all well. It's all good. It's art. Okay. Now this one I said I was going to do in orange. So I'm going to flip this around so that my hand does not go in there. So I made an orange with the saffron, and this is the paprika, I believe. Maybe it's the chili. I have a light orange and a darker orange. Since the balloon is smaller and the space is smaller, I want to use a smaller point. So I'm going to go ahead and use the end of a brush. Now you can use the same, not the same Q-tip, but earbuds for the whole thing, or you can change around like I'm doing. I just want to see what, other things do. It's always good to see what other things do, Okay, so I already stirred this up. This is a nice heavy body, you can see, okay? So that'll give a nice point to it. So I'm going to start here, come around. And it's the same technique as before. Of course, you would go much, much slower than I'm going and be much more detailed than me, because that's just how I know you are. Okay, and I want to have the lighter up in here. So I'm going to put all my dark down here. And they can be random. They don't have to be like in a row. Depending on how much paint you get on, you're going to get as the size of your thing, your point. Now I'm going to change to a smaller point, which I'm going to use the chopstick, and I'm changing to the lighter color. And so I have a smaller area in here, which to do the light reflection. And again, if you wanted to go in between some of the orange. See, now I got big ones, big blobs, and that's okay, not a crisis. Don't make it a crisis, Yeah. It's because I'm going fast, but you would go much slower. And now I'm ready for the blue balloon down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use this small skewer and the round end. This one's a real itty-bitty point, so no, I'm not going to use that. And I'm going to outline it with my darker color. Okay, if your paint is thick, you're going to get a real nice point up and down, straight up. And I made this, I sort of made it, I ended up making it like a teal color, but that's okay. And I want the sunlight is going to be coming true, so I'm going to put some white over on this side, lighter. Okay. The sunlight's coming from over here, okay? So I'm going to have lighter right up in here. And this side will be a little darker. And even if the paint doesn't, stick all the way down, that's okay. It's just a technique, okay? Now I'll put a few more here, okay? Now I'm going to clean this off for the lighter blue. And I made a lighter blue. Let's see for the, oh, this is nice and creamy. This is good for pouring as well, if you were doing a pouring technique. And eventually I'll play with those with you. Okay, so now I'm going to do my lighter color in here. Okay, we'll try some little dots in between. Because it blends in, the colors blend, they don't. Okay. His points were actually like this size, and I believe he used a brush, not a little piece of technology that we're using. Now on the snail, because the glue and the salt is so much thicker, because depending on how much water you add, make it thick and then you get a nice texture. And the same would be true here, but I ended up adding a little too much water, so my fault. But it will hold body, because there are some of these dots here on my balloons that will hold their shape. They're not going to all melt, But if they do, it's not a problem. Nothing's a crisis. So don't worry about anything. Just try, when you're doing this technique, it's good to have it thicker and so that it has body and it holds a peak or a shape. Now when George did this, it was all flat and he was using oil paint, a totally different thing. Okay, he's not like Van Gogh. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do the clouds. And what I thought, as I mentioned earlier, what we would do is just kind of outline the clouds and leave the silver in the middle, because every cloud has a silver lining. So I'm going to use this darker blue because I like it. So I will start over here. So you move your piece around so it works for you, so you're, where you can work where your hand isn't in what you've already done. That's how I try to think. And then I'm going to take and do a smaller row around it with the light blue. Now I'm going to move around, do the next one. Sometimes you're going to have to change your earbuds, because the cotton will make like a tail and you won't get a nice dot. You'll get a dot with like this. So sometimes that will happen if your earbud gets too, the quality of the earbud, it's not, Anyway, just change the earbud, that's all, not a big deal. Yeah, and you want to go like up and down. And I got this shade of blue. I just added a lot of blue food color. And this one was barely a drop. Okay, so that's my blue. So I finished the blues. Okay, and now I've decided my background, I'm just going to do yellow. Different shades of yellow. Okay, now I'm ready for my yellow. I'm just being sure that because they've been sitting, waiting to be worked on, that they are all smooth and stirred in, and there's no talc on the bottom. So that's what that's about. Okay, and what I have here, I have 3 yellows, and 2 of them you can barely tell the difference between. But this is what we're just going to do the background. So you can do this, and I have my buds in each one, ready to go. Okay. So you can just do them randomly, and then put different colors between. I think the lighter the touch, the better the dot. So I'll just work on this area for right now, and then we'll complete it, and then we'll move on to another area. So since it's drying, I'm going to leave it flat, and then when it's dry, I will take my Sharpie and I will sign my name in the lower right-hand corner. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Now please send in your creative pieces, because it's really fun to see. As you can see, here's some other things that have been done in the past that students have sent in. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed looking at those, and those can be yours next time. There's 2 ways you can get your stuff up there as well. One is to email them to me at maebeat@yahoo.com, or to the administrator at tlckuwait.com. And then we can post them for you, and you'll see yourself on the screen. So that'd be really, really great. Okay, so I hope you have a blessed week. I hope you enjoyed this project. And have lots of fun with it. Try different things. Don't just do what we've done here. You can try other, You're the artist. You tell me, okay? And I would really like to hear if you have any ideas that you would like to pursue, that you would like me to share with you, that we can do together. So that would be a great thing to hear as well. And any comments you have. So please, God bless you. See you next time. Bye-bye.